Joe, we looking forward to another huge challenge this week. I'm proud of our team, how we've improved. We got a little better. Biggest thing I'm proud of as a coach is we've kept our intensity and our focus. We're starting to look more like a football team each week, and not just in the game, but in practice. Our guys we got good leadership on the team. Have more guys stepping forward. We've starting to have more fun in practice. It's always fun when you're winning, but even back when we had lost a couple of games, the guys were eager to get back to practice to get better, and it's fun to see that as a coach. Our coaches have done an excellent job of changing things around, finding more out about the team each week, try to bring the best out in what we do best, work on our weaknesses, and just one play. It doesn't really make a difference who we play. We're just trying to get better and trying to have fun and trying to improve the team each week. LSU, a good football team. This is always a great game. It's usually one of the better games in the conference every year. And even nationally, it's a game that's always has picked up a lot of interest. We always expect a very tough, hard-fought game against LSU, especially when you go on the road and play down there. Their fans they really get into it. Our players enjoy going down and playing in Baton Rouge. It's always an interesting game. Our teams play hard, and it won't be any different this week. They've got a good football team. They did have a slip-up last week, but again, we all know how that is. There's going to be very few teams this year that's not going to lose a game, if any, and there's a lot of good teams in our conference, and again, they went on the road and played a good football team in Kentucky that played well, but they still almost pulled it off in 3 overtimes. We've got a challenge in obviously playing against 2 good quarterbacks, a lot of good running backs, speedy receivers. Offensive line is much improved, and then you go to their defense, and they're leading almost every category in the conference in the country on defense. So we know that we have to play a complete game, have to go play better than what we played. Again, we're kind of like the cardiac kids. It seems like we play just good enough sometimes, and we've got to get out of that mode. We've got to start playing better offensively. We can't lean on our defense as much as we've been leaning on them, because we're going to have to do a lot better this week. But we're excited about it. Another SEC game. This game always has big implications, and I'm sure it'll have this week also. Questions?
Tommy, you talked about the offense just doing enough to get by and got to have some more explosion, but wasn't that kind of the game plan going in and just kind of playing up to your defense and kind of letting them dictate the game plan? Well,
that's my philosophy of knowing that especially when you go on the road, you got to play good defense and kick game. That's got to be a given. If you're not good on defense on the road in this conference, then you better be good on offense. And so we kind of played our defense, and we've done that, but we need to change our mentality a little bit offensively. We know we're going to score more points down the stretch. We're going to have to make more plays. We were a little bit more open in the Florida game, but that was by design. I thought Al and his coaches did a good job of getting points on the board early, but we've got to play a 4-quarter game on offense. And we haven't done that all year long. I thought the first half against Vanderbilt was our best. Second half, we scored basically a defensive touchdown on an interception down to about the 3 or 4 yard line. But we can do that. I think a lot of it, obviously, is our philosophy, our mentality of how we coach and how we coach the game. The thing that you try to do when you play football or any sport, you try to have more points than the other team. It really doesn't make any difference how many more. It's just have more. We've got weaknesses, as everybody does, and we try to play away from those and try to build on our strengths. And but now, sometimes when you play teams like LSU, you're probably going to have to do a few more things to score points, because they're going to be much more well-rounded in everything that they do. But when we play bigger games like this, we seem to play better. And today we had a great practice. We had a physical practice. We're going to continue to do that. Very few teams probably hit as much as we do in practice, but again, we're still in this youth movement of trying to get these guys better that are playing for the first time. But it's kind of coming around, and again, it's when you have several game plans going into a game, and we kind of have to pick that one out as we get into the game and see how it's going and how we're playing on both sides. And if we feel like it gives us a chance to win, we'll go one way or the other.
Can you expand on playing better in the bigger games? What is it about you guys?
I don't know whether we play better. I think we just play a little bit more consistent. I think guys are focused a little bit better. You know, this year they all been big for us because we really haven't been a very good team for 4 quarters. I think if you can look back at several games, that you know we actually look like a pretty good football team. And we beat Florida down there. We looked good at times. At times we didn't. We made a lot of mistakes. You know, we coached hard on the mistakes since you know we turned it over 10 times in the first few weeks, and we've got a little bit better at that. But you know, when you go on the road, you've almost got to play perfect. And if you look back at last week, how we coached and played the game was pretty close to being perfect. In terms of getting a win, we made a couple mistakes, fumbled. We had a couple of penalties that hurt us. We gave up a couple of big plays on defense on their one drive. But you know, you can be pretty much satisfied with that when you play against a good team like Arkansas. So you know, it's a focus and consistency has been our theme all year long, whether we play at home or road, or no matter whether we're playing conference or whatever. But when you get your team going, you have to know a lot about them. And one thing I've noticed about this team is they have fun playing. And when they have fun playing, it's usually going to make a difference on their focus and things that they put into the game.
Coach, could you update the injuries of Merrill and Quentin?
Merrill's playing. Merrill's doing good. He played one play last week, and the reason for that, we probably could have played him more. He just didn't know enough about the game plan, and we were playing so well, there was really no reason. Blackman's obviously much better. Aaron Savage played practice some today. He's probably a few days away from being, you know, the player he needs to play in a game like this. Ryan Pugh, talked to him after practice, did not practice. He said he's going to practice tomorrow, but I think that might be stretching a little bit. You know, he wants to play, and we'll look at him again tomorrow and see what he can do. Just fortunate to have him back. You know, it didn't look good early, but finally we had a little bit of a break there in terms of not having an injury that could go for several months instead of maybe a few days or a week or so. And who else? Quentin practiced today.
Do you expect him to play?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, he's still a little sore, and you know the guys in front of him are playing awfully well, and we're not going to play a guy that's 70-80% in front of guys that are going 100% playing well. So there's not a lot of drop off there in terms of making plays, and you know, just when we get him back 100%, we know it's going to be a luxury to have him because we'll have more depth. A guy that's 100% healthy.
Can you compare LSU's defense to yours?
Well, I think that they played a lot more consistent than we have this year. They haven't given up, you know, big plays. They've got a lot of speed. We're built on the same mold of speed and quickness. They play more with a 4-man front at times. We're a little bit more of a 3-man front. But we don't blitz a lot, neither do they. You know, they lean a lot on fundamentals, and they do a good job of that, and we're trying to do the same.